I'm Terry Murphy, Senior Editor for Realty Times, Women in Business, Women in Real Estate, and In the Men's Room with Murph. And every once in a while, we have a high-octane woman, actually all of them, but this one's particularly high-octane. Her name is Andrea Dell. She is the owner of High Octane Marketing. She's also, she'll tell you all about this, a Code Red certified coach, which means you want to be on her side. And a knife enthusiast. We'll get into that later. But Andrea, welcome to the Women's Wisdom Network Realty Time segment.
Thank you so much, Terry. Appreciate you having me. I'm so excited to be here and to pour into your community.
Well, it's a great community. Andrea, one of the things that we know about you is copywriting is so interesting, especially today, because the introduction of this new thing, AI, has significantly had impact, and not necessarily in a good way. Tell us a little bit about what you do and to whom you do it for.
Happy to, Terry. So I am the secret weapon of high-octane, mission-driven women who need relationship-building, income-producing content. And I'm also a content coach that helps women who maybe aren't at the point where they can hire a copywriter yet, but still need that kind of content to learn how to do it themselves. And I also support high-octane, mission-driven women with my NLP Master Practitioner certification to clear the blocks, the mindset blocks that come up that maybe stop us from sharing our message as impactfully as we'd like to be doing.
Well, having conducted well over 1,500 interviews with women, I certainly know that very often it's very hard for us to articulate our value in a way that creates opportunities and resources for other people. I know that you have been a ghostwriter for several different huge people, including probably some of the people we both know, that helps them increase their income. Tell us a little bit about how the NLP piece helps you a lot.
So the NLP piece NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistic Programming, and it is basically learning to speak the language of a part of the brain that's you've heard called the subconscious mind, the unconscious mind. A lot of people use those terms interchangeably, and it's the part of the mind that runs most of the show under the surface. So you're not sitting there telling your heart to beat, right? Consciously, okay, heart, beat, come on.
Yeah, let's not stop. Okay.
Yeah, keep going, please. And it's the part sometimes called the autopilot mind, that it learns and then it starts doing the stuff so you don't have to consciously do everything and relearn it every second of every day. I'm getting a little stressed just thinking about having to tell my hand, lift up hand, okay, lift up hand, okay, mouth, talk. Ugh. We have the unconscious mind for that. And the unconscious mind, one of its prime directives is it wants to help you. However, it's if you think of it like a kid who wants to do something nice for mommy. So this child draws a picture on the wall in permanent marker to draw a nice picture from mommy, but unfortunately it's on the wall and you got to clean it up. So the unconscious mind can be like that. It has positive intentions always. That's one of its prime directives, but the way it goes about fulfilling those positive intentions can be negative. And that is where the blocks and the feeling in conflict with yourself comes in. It's a sure sign that you've got that going on when you know what to do, but you can't seem to do it. And it could be anything.
Yeah, a lot of times for women, it's allowing themselves. And I mean, in the interviews I've done, I know that your personal mission is to facilitate that hope and healing in all those ways, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. I'm not sure how does that translate. If I was listening to this or watching it on our Spotify or our podcasts or just through video, what would you say? How would you help me? Would you do one-on-one counseling? Would you do coaching? Would you do an evaluation? Tell us how best we would be able to utilize your services.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I would do is meet with you for a pre-session to learn what you want to be free from, and then how you would like things to be instead. So let's say that it's I want to stop procrastinating. and get more stuff done, actually get my content done, my podcast posted, whatever it is, the stuff I know I should be doing to grow my business and share my message, but that I am not doing. And then I would also hear from you, what would that look like if you were to stop procrastinating, if you were to do the things and post the content and or speak from stage, whatever it is you needed to do. And then, yeah, go ahead, Terry.
No, again, so that would happen through a counseling session, and then you would set up, like, you call it timeline therapy.
I would set up a breakthrough session, and timeline therapy is a form of neuro-linguistic programming. It's one of the tools in my tool belt that can be used to go back to the past, not necessarily stuff that you consciously remember, but that was planted throughout your life that's contributing to these blocks, and clear it out. And so first we'd have our pre-session so I could understand what you're struggling with, what you want to be free from, how you'd like to be different. And then we would meet for what's called a breakthrough session. And those are 4 to 4.5 hours. And we just go in and show your unconscious mind that the beliefs that it's holding on to that pertain to this certain issue are actually not serving you. And we'll show it that with NLP processes that help it go, oh, okay, got it. Well, let me stop fixating on the procrastinating and let's get stuff done, for example.
Knowing a little bit about NLP, I understand that sometimes we are bonded by our habits and habitual thinking. And that's when I talked about allowing. And I know that women entrepreneurs, especially those listening, especially when we're trying to write content. So, we want to help people. Almost every interview I've done for women in business and women in real estate, it's like, I want to help people. I got my license because I wanted to help people not buy the wrong property, because I did, that kind of thing. Or I want to help women manage their, I know you work with Christy Code Red, who's we've had on our program, and it's always, you always need a vacation after you talk to her, because she's just so high energy and she's so passionate about what she does, about helping people feed their bodies in the right way. And women, how self-critical we are. So when you're writing content, sometimes it doesn't always come through because it's not clarity driven. Tell us about, in your opinion, when you're talking about income producing written content, what does that mean and how could I use it?
So relationship building, income producing written content. So I specialize in content that does make sales, produces income, but also builds the relationship. So you see a lot of content out there that is very generic, and it might make sales, absolutely. Stuff that just focuses on the pain points and the outcome they want. It absolutely can make sales, but it doesn't do a lot to build the relationship. It's too generic. The person reading it doesn't feel like they're getting to know you, what you're about, whether you're someone they have similar values with. And the kind of content that I specialize in builds the relationship by incorporating that personality, that part of you that people need in order to have a relationship with you, because you can't have a relationship with words on a screen. Relationships are built between people.
Yeah, they sure are. And to me, this relationship selling is so, again, there's that whole misnomer about selling. It's something I do to you versus something I do with you or for you. As an example, somebody to clean your house or clean your gutters. Those are resources that, and we all have those. I think that women have a particularly more of a challenge of articulating that value through copy. So talk to us about how this AI thing is going to affect copywriting, because that's we all write. I'm an author, you're a writer as well. How do you see that impacting in a positive or negative way?
So the positive side is that it can make it easier to get your content done. Right now, the best use I personally have found for AI is that helps with content anyway, is that it is an idea starter. So you can ask it for, it can help you brainstorm. So you're not staring at that blank page and And that can be very valuable. I don't necessarily love all the ideas that it comes up with, because again, at this point in time, they're pretty generic, but still, with the way your human mind works, it might trigger something that you can go, oh yeah, I could write about that. And that's great. In terms of actually getting it to produce content that is fit to be seen, well, that is a whole other ball of wax. And you have to, at this time, again, as it evolves, this might change years down the road, I don't know. But right now, content that's fit to be seen, that people will actually want to read, and that isn't the reading equivalent of eating the most dry toast that you've ever tasted, is you have to recognize good writing when you see it. Even if you don't consider yourself the best writer in the world, you don't have to be, but you have to understand the kind of writing that people actually want to read. And it's not the dry, overly
I'll call it content driven, where they just dump data, which isn't relevant. And I think you make a really good point when you say you like to join forces with women that conspire to boost your impact with income, with elevating your content game, because there's content everywhere, right? And for us, especially in a digiphrenic world, I'm studying a great book called on focus. You know, it's like so hard for us to focus. I mean, we get so many interruptions a day, so we don't necessarily really hunker down to figure out how to build the community that supports your business. So just really quick, tell me what kind of businesses would best benefit from your resource of helping them write content, and in which ways?
Okay, so I specialize in not only high-octane, mission-driven women, but women whose messages facilitate some form of hope and healing in the world. That is what I'm super passionate about. That is what I personally believe we need more of in the world, is hope and healing. And when I say mission-driven, to me, a sure sign that you're mission-driven, just so everybody's watching is clear on that, is that I can't not do what I'm doing.
Bingo.
For me, I can't not facilitate hope and healing in the world in some way. And so the content that I specialize in helps you grow your mission with relationship, and it produces income too, but it also builds the relationship. And in my experience, women really value that. And that's why they might maybe have such a hard time with selling, because traditionally selling, I mean, good selling is definitely relationship driven, but there's this perception, I guess I would call it, that it's, no, it's all about how can I screw you over and make money at your expense without whether you get what you want or not. It's all about me.
So if you're listening to this or watching it, there's an opportunity for you to explore new ways to get your message out there, to build the community that is looking for you now. Whether it is physical or mental or spiritual, we're all here in a relationship-driven physicality. And so I think Andrea could really help you out. I know that on your website, AndreaDell.com, that you offer a 7 ways to stop the scroll. It's a list, and you can email it to people, and there's like no gotcha. Tell us a little bit about what that means and how to get there.
Yeah, absolutely. So 7 ways to stop the scroll. This is 7 types of content. When I say types, I don't mean video, audio, written. I mean ways to approach content that, in my personal experience with myself and my clients, is the best at getting attention. And that's regardless of what you do or where you talk about it. It can be in an interview like this, it could be posting on social media, it could be a video. And there's 7 different kinds that you incorporate this, and human beings are interested in it and they're more likely to pay attention. And you can get it by just going to my website, AndreaDell.com, and opting in, and it'll come right to you.
So you brought up something. So yeah, just having the content's good, but then how do you get the word out? Do you help with that?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so there you go. So ladies, here's your secret weapon. Andrea Dell, she's written content for 7- and 8-figure entrepreneurs, some of which I think I know, coaching dozens of up-and-coming entrepreneurs. If you're an entrepreneur, and by the way, according to statistics, women entrepreneurship has risen, especially after COVID. I think women are more likely to work with other women when they are known to provide a resource that they actually need. And Andrea, what's the best way to reach you?
So if you want to explore working with me, then the best way to reach me is to just email me at workwithandrea@andreadell.com. So workwithandrea@andreadell.com.
That is so good. And Andrea, we are so lucky to have you. We didn't talk about being a knife enthusiast. That does throw me off a little bit. What does that mean?
It just means that I like knives, Terry, and I don't have a logical explanation for why that is. I just I like to hold them. I like to cut vegetables with them. Might be a self-defense use at some point. I hope not, but I'd rather know and not need it. So yeah.
Well, you're also a karate practitioner, so good for you. I mean, this girl is clearly an overachiever, but she's young and vital, and she offers a tremendously unique resource because copywriting has gotten very challenging if you've been at all an author, and I am. So, Andrea, thank you for joining us. Andrea Dell, go to her website, follow her on Instagram. These are ways for you to help yourself or someone you know. I'm Terry Murphy for the Women's Wisdom Network. Andrea, thanks so much for joining us, and I hope you'll join us again for another segment on Women in Business.